So the whole Caitlin Clark Olympic talk is getting really, really weird. And to be expected, it's going to get very, very strange on Monday. Well, tomorrow, once the whole regular media gets a hold of it. And you're going to be seeing a lot of really, really dumb takes. Just like you've seen a lot of dumb takes from both arguments. You've seen a lot of dumb takes from both arguments, or both sides arguing on Twitter. And I'm going to talk about it right here. Some of the just really, really dumb takes from either side when it comes to Caitlin Clark not making the Olympics team. But anyway, before we get on, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We're trying to hit 7,000 subscribers as soon as possible. And if we could manage to hit that in the next few days, that'd be absolutely insane. Thank you guys so much for all the support of the channel recently. But anyway, now let's get on to the video. So, Caitlin Clark did not make the Olympic team. Is Caitlin Clark in the best 12 players right now? No. Even if she's on a better team, she's probably not in the best 12 players. If could you argue Caitlin Clark being the best 17, 18 players? Yeah, you genuinely could. But there are legitimate reasons for her going to the Olympics. And I'm going to give the reasons why she should and the reasons why she shouldn't go to the Olympics. There are two really, really big reasons why she should go to the Olympics. And the reasons why she should go is that she's the biggest draw, and just like when the dream team, and I hate the way people saying it's like leaving Jordan off the dream team. No, it was like leaving Larry Bird or Magic Johnson off the dream team. Like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were literally there for the show. Magic had retired 2 years. Larry Bird couldn't move, and obviously they brought Leitner because they had to bring Leitner. And a lot of people are saying it's like leaving MJ off. Realistically, it's probably like leaving Shaq off the dream team, but they obviously didn't bring in anyone to replace her. But she would be the biggest draw. And if she played 10 minutes a game, and in those 10 minutes were all garbage, like every minute Team USA play at this Olympics is going to be garbage time. Like people should understand this, that every single minute the Team USA play at this Olympics is likely to be garbage time. I do not think they play one close game. I genuinely think every minute they play is garbage time. So you could honestly play Caitlin Clark 40 minutes a game and you're still going to win the Olympics. Or you could leave her at home and you're still going to win the Olympics. Or you could leave the 12 players they brought at home and bring in a new 12 and you're still probably going to win the Olympics. The gap is much bigger in the women's than it is for the men's. So, she would be the biggest draw. She'd put butts in seats for, as far as just money that would be pumped in. If a bunch of people were watching the games at NBC might, for the new CBA, they might be looking to get in on the WNBA TV deal. For the revenue of the league, it does matter. A lot of people are saying, oh, but like the Olympics doesn't need more marketing. No, it doesn't, but like these players do. The Olympics didn't need more marketing in 1992 and the dream team was huge, whereas Caitlin Clark would be the draw for USA women's team. And like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't see many people watching the USA women's team beat down teams by 40 over and over again. At least in the men's, I think every team's going to be close to them. I'm not going to lie. I think not every team's going to be close. I think it's going to at least be a competitive game in most scenarios. And they're going to beat South Sudan by 60, but like if they do face South Sudan. But in the majority of cases, a lot of those teams from Europe, they face in Australia, and they have a terrible day, and Australia just don't miss. They could lose any given game. Whereas in the women's, that's not the case. They're just way too good. The other reason is the team's really old. The team is really, really old. Like, their youngest player is 27 in a few months. And Team USA does have a history of bringing young players to the Olympics. And I don't get why that hasn't been brought up. They brought Sabrina Ionescu after her real rookie year last time. They brought, in 2016, they brought Breanna Steward straight out of college. In 2008, they brought Candace Parker straight out of college. And Foles. 2004, they brought Diana Taurasi. So they've had young players. They have brought young players with them. I just need to check what the 2012 Women's Olympics basketball, what the team was for the USA, because obviously the USA were the top team. I cannot see. Where is it? 2012 Summer Olympics? I'm trying to find the roster here, because obviously in 2012 maybe they didn't bring a rookie. They brought, to be fair, Tina Charles was the youngest player on that team and she was 23. But at least that's 3 years at the time younger than what Sabrina Ionescu is right now. She's about to turn 27 and she's the youngest player on the team. So there is a legitimate argument being like, in the next Olympics, how many of these players are going to be gone? One for certain is Diana Taurasi still going to be there at 46 years old. She's never retiring and she's keeping that spot. And there is logic to bringing in young players. There is logic. Almost every team does it. The problem is, I will talk a little bit later, is a lot of the time those young players like an Anthony Davis in 2012, like an Emeka Okafor in 2004, heck, there's players in all these teams that their job is really just to be there, is to get from experience, and I know Caitlin Clark fans won't be too happy with that. But the two main reasons are, like, if you're looking to bring the best 12, there are plenty of players that wouldn't have made that team. If you're looking to bring the best 12, Diana Taurasi does not make that team. And I think that the logic of they need Diana Taurasi's leadership, what the hell is Breanna Stewart's on her third Olympics? I'm sorry, if she's not a leader, then what the hell's going on? If Aja Wilson isn't a leader, then what the hell is going on? Like, these players are in their 30s. If they're not leaders now, when are they ever going to be leaders? Or is Aja Wilson pushing 30? I think she's a bit older than me, but still. And these players are either in the 30s or pushing 30. If they're not leaders now, when are they they're not going to be leaders in 4 years' time. So I don't get the bringing down Taurasi for leadership. Obviously, it's a lifetime achievement award for Taurasi, but at the same time, like, you have to argue what is more important, a lifetime achievement award or bringing through a young player. Like, if you're bringing the best team possible, neither of Taurasi or Caitlin Clark make it, but there's an argument that what Caitlin Clark would bring would be bigger than what Taurasi would bring. At the same time, look, it is what it is. I don't think either of them, even though they're going to freaking start Taurasi, you just know they are. So basically, every single person's point of they bring the best players, they need to bring the best players to win, is going to be nullified when they start down Taurasi. Like, so that argument is going to be thrown out the window. But for reasons of her not making the team, she's not in the best 12 player. That's simply put the reasons why she shouldn't make the team is that. Like, that is the one reason why she shouldn't make the team. Arika Gumboale. And the one thing I think about her is, like, she is so much of a shot chucker that I don't know how she gets on. To be honest. It's very hard to tell how shot chuckers get on when they have to be role players. She's the biggest shot chucker I've ever seen, in men's or women's. Like, she lets it fly. I've never seen somebody with as little conscience shooting the ball as she does, especially with an effective field goal percentage of like 39%, which is like laughably bad. That's worse than Angel Reese's. But at the same time, you've got her fans, which is another reason. And I think if you want to bring a young player there, you don't want, and they're going to play 5 minutes a game, you don't want the circus. Because realistically, that's probably what Caitlin Clark probably would do, is play 5 minutes. And it's an actual reason. It shouldn't have ever been come out publicly, but it makes sense. It makes sense. If you're not going to play her, don't bring her. Simple as that. And that kind of makes sense. And by the sounds of things, it looks like they were considering bringing her, with no intention of really playing her. And that would cause another set of problems. So, like, look, it makes sense they didn't bring her. It does make sense. But at the same time, Team USA has always brought the biggest names. Simply put, they always have. They have always brought the biggest names. They bring in Diana Taurasi this time. And I'm talking about when it comes to the men's, they've always brought the biggest names. The men's have brought teams that didn't fit together just to make sure they brought the biggest names. And I actually think they could have brought a better team this time. I don't care about the names. They could have 1,000,000% brought a better team this time. I think this is even more so in 2021. Because 2021, every player, even though they lost a bunch of games in qualifying, or not qualifying, in the group stage and in pre-Olympic tournaments, I genuinely think that they are like really well equipped to winning it. Or they were, by the end, they started figuring it out. Like, KD was the guy, Drew was the guy who did everything for them. Dame, you're going to do nothing. Tatum played okay in the final. But, like, these guys they found out their roles. But, like, LeBron's not going to be a role player. This is, like, a much worse version of the Redeem team. And the Redeem team drastically, especially in the final, drastically underperformed based on their talent gap between Spain. Like, that was as big a talent gap as we've ever seen. And it was a struggle. Even in 2012 against Spain. So, I'll say it that, like, this current men's team, because they've just brought all the names and not tried to build a team, might struggle. So, I see the kind of logic there, but Team USA is always, since the Dream Team, they've always tried to make it a point that, like, we're the Olympics, we're going to show basketball to the world, and you probably do need to bring Caitlin Clark to do that in the women's end, to try and make it a world thing. And yeah, I don't see any situation where they don't steamroll everyone anyway. And if you're going to steamroll everyone anyway, you might as well bring her. But look, if the argument is, there's a load of dumb arguments on both sides. Like the argument that they really care that much that the Olympics will struggle. Like, it is the Olympics. Yes, this one specific event in the Olympics, but like you literally have to go down probably 15 events. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure the modern pentathlon, the one where they do a cross-country run and they stop and just start shooting things, and then they ride horses and they do some fencing. Like, I genuinely think that probably gets more viewers than women's basketball, with or without Caitlin Clark. So I think that it's actually going to make almost zero difference to the viewership. It could have been a good thing, especially if she had went off for the sport, but it wouldn't have had the same like aura as the Dream Team, because it's not all of them. If there was 3 or 4 that had the same like hype of Caitlin Clark, and like I would consider, if you were bringing Caitlin Clark, to bring Angel Reese too. Like, that would be one of my considerations, being like, look, Angel Reese is clearly not in the best 12, but she's performing really well. I would have brought both of them. If you were to ask me, I think they win anyway. You bring 2 young players, sit on the end of the bench, just like in 2004 when you had like LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Melo. I mean, 2 of those young players, when you've won the game, you can put the 2 of them on. Angel Reese can get her boards. Caitlin Clark can be there shooting step-back threes, can be cooking people in garbage time. And then, obviously, you've got the whole news thing of, oh, will they end up joining up together in a year's time? And you've got all that. And then when they play against each other the first time, it's probably going to be a fight break out and all rivalry comes off there. Like, that would be a fun thing to look at. But at the end of the day, I think Caitlin Clark is on the plane, but there are plenty of reasons for her to be there and reasons for her not to be there. In general, I think if Diana Taurasi wasn't in the team, if you replace Diana Taurasi with Arika Gumboale, I genuinely don't think anyone could make any complaints, because they just picked the best players available. At the same time, I don't think Brittany Griner should have been on the team. Brittany Griner is not. Brittany Griner is not the best center in USA. She's just not right now in the year of 2021, 2024. Jesus.